The way that you feel about yourself and the way that you treat yourself is going to affect every other relationship in your life. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So I asked you guys to send me your problems, your tea, your mishaps, and I'm going to be giving you advice, my take, what I would do, etc. So if you like videos like this, definitely let me know and make sure you follow me on IG and TikTok. So let's just jump right in. So the first question, let's just start with a bang. How do I balance 12 hoes? And a girl asked this, so genuine advice. Like, I don't know if you are trying to be funny, but genuinely, if you're single, especially if you are a woman / someone who dates men, I think it is so important to not put all your eggs in one basket. Don't invest all of your time and emotional energy, especially when you don't even have a commitment with them. So I think if you're single and you are actively dating, it is important to date multiple people. That does not mean sleep with multiple people or be physical with multiple people, but definitely, you know, get to know different people. I think a big reason why so many people, so many girls and women get into situationships is that you invest too much emotion and time into somebody, and so you'll kind of settle for the bare minimum or like a situationship when you actually want a relationship just because you've invested all this emotional energy into them. This also just makes it easier to stay true to your standards, because if you know you have a lot of potential options, you are more likely to say no immediately to the first red flag. If someone asks you to hang out at 11 p.m. and they're the only person you're talking to, you're much more likely to say yes because you just don't really feel like you have other options. Versus if you have 12 potential suitors and one of them asks you to hang out at 10 p.m. and you're like, ew, it's like, okay, well, the other guy wouldn't do that. So again, this does not mean be physical with a bunch of different people at once. And as always, definitely let me know your take on any of these down below in the comments. So the next one is, how do you keep up with your beauty routine? Something I did at the beginning of the year was make a list of all the different things that I personally do for my beauty routine and self-care routine, daily, weekly, monthly, every 6 months. So if you are trying to level up, to glow up, if you're just trying to kind of step up your beauty routine, your self-care routine, I think that's a great place to start because you can organize everything. And then that also makes it easier to budget out everything, because let's be honest, it does cost money to look good and invest in yourself. But at the end of the day, that's what it is, an investment. Nobody's going to do those things for you. I mean, they could pay for it, but like, you energetically have to do that. You know, you have to be the one to physically go do that. But yeah, you can start there, and then it just makes it so much easier to have the routine of it, because you're not just like, oh, this and that. It's like every day you should be doing something, you know? And I'm not saying that in like a vain way or like, oh my god, you need to like care so much about how you look. Don't put pressure on yourself. It's genuinely about self-care. Like, I love doing my skincare routine in the morning and in the night, and it's going to benefit me long term because I'm taking care of myself and my body. That's where I would personally start if I were you. How to be open to meeting new people and make friends. So especially since I moved to New York, I low-key have kind of had to start fresh, even though I do know some people here. And part of that is like scary and intimidating and like lonely, but then a lot of it is also fun and fresh because you just have kind of this newfound inspiration to talk to people or start conversations when maybe you normally wouldn't have. Go out of your way to go to places that maybe you haven't been before, whether that's a new coffee shop, a park, even like if you go to the bar and you start talking to the bartender and you can get like local recommendations, and like, you know, it's kind of something that can also pile on top of each other. So even if like, let's say you're at a bar by yourself, you're talking to the bartender, you're like, oh, I just moved here, like, do you have any recommendations for this vibe, or what are your favorite places? They tell you that. Even if the bartender doesn't become your friend, maybe they'll recommend you someplace where then you'll go meet a friend, you know? So you just never know what could come out of a conversation. Maybe you'll just walk away with some newfound inspiration or like a little, you know, tip and trick about the city that you're in. And don't forget, you can do this even if you're not living in a new place. If I want a new group of friends or like a new bestie, what would I want to be doing with them? And then go do that thing. And you can also apply that for dating. I feel like it's a lot easier to make other girly friends because there's just so many activities that we like to do. You know, you could go take a Pilates class, a yoga class, a pottery class, like just something like that. Even if you don't end up making a friend, it wasn't a waste of time because you still did something for yourself and like learned a new skill or just got out of the house or explored your town, your city, whatever. So let me know if you have any tips for making friends, but that would kind of be my general advice. How do you wake up early? It's a huge problem for me. Definitely going to sleep early, babe. Like, you have to have the nighttime routine on lock because you can't like try all these things to wake up early and like set a million alarms. if every night you're going to sleep at 3 a.m., you know? Or just like not having a good nighttime routine, not truly winding down. So I would start there and make your morning routine something enjoyable so that you look forward to it. Like, I love making my coffee every morning and just kind of taking time to settle into my day rather than like waking up late and like rushing around. Like, I generally get excited to read my emails in the morning and drink my coffee. But yeah, definitely just going to sleep earlier, which just takes practice. Sometimes you have to reset your sleep schedule. Wear an eye mask, wear earbuds, don't be on your phone right before bed, or start reading a book. Reading a book is honestly a great hack because you just kind of get tired, you know? Drinking a sleepy time tea before bed, not having caffeine or sugar right before bed, obviously, or like a few hours before, like honestly like 6 hours before. Truly try to relax, dim your lights, again, don't be on your phone right before bed, and all those things really do help. Taking a hot shower before bed, I know some of y'all like to take a shower in the morning, but doing it before bed just also helps relax your body. Honestly, that's like a personal preference, and just incorporating things into your morning routine that make it enjoyable for you. You'll just start to form that, you know, response in your brain where like, oh, this is actually something I look forward to. Like, yay, like let me go to sleep so I can wake up and enjoy my morning. Let me know your tips for waking up early down below because I probably missed it a bunch. How do you stop depending on someone in a relationship? I'm sure they mean depend on them emotionally. It just really comes down to putting yourself first. And I did a video about feminine energy, which you can watch, and I talk more about this. Basically, you have to be okay with being alone, and you have to, especially in a relationship, you cannot let yourself go as the priority. And this goes for any type of relationship, a friendship with your girlfriend, whatever, but like especially if you're dating a man, you have to put yourself as a priority, because otherwise you're going to be a doormat. They're not going to respect you, and even if it's not like outright disrespect, it's still just like the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you treat yourself going to affect every other relationship in your life. So if you are loving yourself, putting yourself as the priority, depending on yourself for happiness and not on somebody else, that is just going to make such a huge difference. And there's so many things you can do every single day, even small steps, to start practicing that. And I think just grant yourself some grace and remember that it is something you need to practice at. It's not going to happen overnight, but there's little things you can do every day to build trust and confidence and self-love within yourself, and therefore just be less codependent and less emotionally dependent on your significant other or on anyone. So this does not mean like cut yourself off from receiving love, or if your boyfriend or girlfriend compliments you, like, oh, you can't feel good. But it's like there's a difference between appreciating something and being grateful for it and like enjoying the love or the compliments or like the gifts or whatever, and then like being completely dependent on that for your source of happiness and self-worth and love and all of that. I would recommend you watch my video on feminine energy because I talk more about self-love and like ways you can practice it. Those are kind of the first starting steps that I would recommend. My boyfriend has an untrained bad dog, and it's unattractive because as a man you should have control. I would recommend that you put on a little Cesar Millan. I think it's very unattractive when anyone has like a bad untrained dog. It just shows that you wanted a dog like for the aesthetic, or like for this idea of like, oh, it's like cute, or like, oh, this completes our home. And it's like you weren't actually willing to research it and like put in the effort to actually train your dog to like, first of all, have a good life, because dogs like to be trained. Like they like order, they like routine, they like structure. So you don't even care about the dog. And then also you don't even care about like yourself or your family or like whoever else you live with, because, or anyone else walking on the street, because like you're not training your dog. It's unattractive. Like, don't get a dog if you're not willing to put in the work, period. If it's your boyfriend, I would recommend putting on some Cesar Millan and just be like, oh, I want to learn more about this because, you know, I just want to be able to interact with your dog better. It's like interesting kind of like reality TV, but then he also has so many tips on how to train your dog and how to be better with your dog. So that's what I would recommend, and just like keep playing that, and then like hopefully he'll pick up on it. And then like if you start doing the tips and tricks, which I'm not saying you need to train the dog, but just like, oh, like isn't this like a fun thing we can do together, and then hopefully he'll like get the hint. And then like a lot of times guys don't like to be told that they're doing something wrong, or like that they could be doing something better. So if you just kind of suggest it, and then you like, or like kind of like subtly suggest it, and then like he'll think it's his idea, like genuinely that works. It's like a good little hack. So that's what I would do. Send him like stuff on IG that's like, oh, be like, oh my god, like I'm gonna try this later. And if that doesn't work, like maybe you just need to sit him down and be like, hey, like I would feel a lot more comfortable if like the dog didn't jump on me. The real showing of his character will be like in the, is he willing to learn? Because if you don't know, you don't know, but it's like your willingness to learn and like do something differently that shows your true character. Feeling or thought that it's never enough, and it literally burns me out. I don't even know where to start with this one because I feel like that feeling is just so big and overpowering in every aspect of one's life, you know? Start with the self-care, because that's something like immediately you can do. Look at areas of your life that you feel are most draining, whether it's certain relationships, maybe it's your current job, and just start to brainstorm ways that you can change that. So that, along with the self-care, I think goes a long way. And then also I would look into like vitamin deficiencies, maybe get your blood tested, maybe look into therapy. And I just want to really let you know, and let anyone else who feels this way know, that that feeling is not forever. You can do something about anything. Life is always changing, always, like knock on wood, like sometimes. And I think just having the true hope and trust that things are gonna work out goes such a long way. So even if it feels like you're trapped in a situation, or there's no way out, or you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, I am here to reassure you that there is a light. You might just not be able to see it right now, but you can truly change your life. Your life can look completely differently in 6 months or in a year, you know, and you just have to be willing to like hope and trust and like take the steps necessary to move in that direction. Again, that's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's something that can happen over time. So whatever it is that you may be dealing with, even if it's just, you know, like a light anxiety in the day-to-day, it's like, oh, I don't want to feel like, to something a little more darker and deeper, there is a solution. Trust me, you can get through it. Like, you can. I believe in you, and there's hope. Gossipy girls and coworkers, I don't want to gossip, but if I don't join in, they'll act differently to me. You can be polite and still kind of like shut something down, or like even just walk away. You know, you don't need to like directly be like, oh my god, I am not participating in this, you guys shouldn't do that, but you can kind of just remove yourself. That looks bad on them, you know, like they're the ones doing something wrong, not you. And if someone else is to overhear that, you're gonna look bad. You need to save your own ass. Again, I know it's like so much easier said than done, especially if it's a place you have to go to like every day or nearly every day. You're not doing anything wrong by like trying to shut that down or just removing yourself. Don't participate in something you feel uncomfortable with, because again, ultimately, if someone overhears that, that's gonna be on you. And you can't be like, oh, well, I just did it because like everyone else was doing it. Like, you're an adult, you know? You need to think for yourself and act for yourself. And again, easier said than done, but I'm just trying to like get you in that mindset. How should I talk to someone about their teenage boy anger that affects me? They are 31 years old. If this is like your boyfriend or maybe someone you're dating, I don't know, you can't force someone to change. You cannot force someone to look at their own behavior, to self-reflect, to go to therapy, to do anything, you know? All you can do is like explain how their behavior affects you by using I statements. I don't like when you speak to me like that because it makes me feel like this. All you can do is say how it affects you, change your actions, like say it's someone you're dating, start distancing yourself if they act like that towards you, you know? If they don't change, then it's on you, like, okay, do I want to continue this relationship? And that's kind of like the bottom line, you know? Don't play therapist. Don't try to convince someone that they need to change. That's a waste of energy, because especially a grown-ass man, he will change if he wants to. You cannot force him to do that. Okay, so the last question was actually a DM, and this girl wanted to know how I stay consistent with social media, because it's been a long time, y'all, since I've been on social media. Every time I get up and stay up, I see results, but then I find myself getting in my head about the dumbest things, and next thing you know, I haven't posted in 4 months. There's been times throughout my social media career where I've posted more, I've had more views, and then there's times where it's been lower. I've been posting less, I get less views. I think my top tips are, number one, to make a content calendar and to plan out your content like at least a month in advance. I would say especially for YouTube. And I think even now it's more important since, you know, we kind of have to post on all these different sites. Like we have to do our YouTube, we have to do our IG Reels, our TikToks, our YouTube Shorts. It's not just YouTube videos anymore, you know? Plan out your content in advance. The camera literally died as I'm in the middle of like the best rant. Okay, watch people that inspire you. So if you start getting in your head like, oh, this isn't good, like whatever, it's like, you have to think, oh, well, this person that I think is cool is vlogging in public, or like filming a video about this and I like it, so therefore I will like what I post, or someone else will like what I post. And I think for me, just really staying on top of my planned Like staying on top of planning everything. It's something you practice at, bro. Like the more you post consistently, so sticking to your content schedule, the more in your brain you're gonna start realizing like, oh, nothing bad happens if I post. Even if I feel like something's cringy after I post it, it's like, I'll just do it a little differently next time, but it's not the end of the world. And then you start building that, you know, thing in your head where it's like, okay, I'm not gonna like anticipate it being cringy. I'm just gonna post it because that's what I do. Again, it's about building confidence within yourself, trusting yourself, and the content calendar is like the key because you can't really stay consistent and keep posting if you don't have anything to post. So definitely plan your content at least a month in advance. So that is going to be all the questions that I answer, all the advice I give you guys. I hope you enjoyed this and gained something from it. Again, let me know your thoughts on anything that I posted or talked about down below. Don't forget to follow me on IG and TikTok and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time.